This Excel assignment introduces you to Excel's data table, goal seek, and scenario manager tools. In building your worksheet, be sure to link all of your yellow calculation cells to the green input cells. Let's begin with the sensitivity analysis. The first step is to build your basic income statement using our contribution margin format. Pick up your unit selling price, your variable cost per unit, your fixed cost per unit, and then we can go ahead and calculate our total sales. The $20 per unit times 20,000 units. Our variable cost will be $8 per unit times 20,000 units. Our contribution margin then is the 400 minus the 160, and our contribution margin per unit is $12. Our taxable income then is our contribution margin minus our fixed cost, giving us taxable income of $60,000. Our income tax expense then is $60,000 times our 30% tax rate, giving us net income of $42,000. The next step is to use Excel's goal seek functions to calculate our break-even selling price and the selling price required to earn a $20,000 target profit. Let's begin by calculating our break-even selling price. We go up to our main menu, Data, What If, and we select Goal Seek from the menu. We want to set our, in this case, break-even is where setting cell B25, which is net income, to 0, and we want to do that by changing our selling price. And we can see a $17 selling price will give us that break-even point. Next, we'll use the goal seek function the same way to calculate our target selling price to earn a target profit of $20,000. So again, what if, goal seek, we want to set again net income equal to, in this case, $20,000. And again, we would do that by changing cell B8, which is our selling price. After you've calculated the break-even selling price and our target profit selling price, be sure to set your selling price per unit back to $20. Now we can build our data tables. To build a data table, we need to have at the top of our table the item of interest. In this case, we're interested in our net operating income or our net income. So we're interested in cell B25. We're going to calculate our net operating income using a $16 selling price, which would be a loss of 14. We want to calculate it using a $17 selling price, an $18 selling price, and so on. The way we're going to do that, here are the various selling prices. We're interested in calculating our net operating income, and again, we're interested in calculating the item at the top of our table. We highlight cells H11 through I-20. Then we go up to our data. We go over to what if, come down and select data table. Our table is set up in terms of columns. So we have a column input cell. We want to take the values in this column, column H, and we want to substitute those in for the selling price, which is in cell B8. We hit OK, and we can see here are the various levels of net operating income as we change our selling price. So this tells us the sensitivity in net operating income given changes in our selling price. One more time. Again, we want to pick up our net operating income or net income. We highlight that top row and our variable cost inputs. We go up to what if, data tables. Again, we have a column format. We want to take these cost variables and we want to input them into our variable cost of $8 per cell, per unit. And we've completed our data table. Do the same thing with fixed cost and number of units. On the last worksheet tab, we're going to perform a break-even scenario analysis. The Argo company manufactures and sells small engines. To improve its profitability, Argo is considering upgrading some of its manufacturing equipment. Argo can select between two different upgrade packages, both of which will increase our fixed cost but reduce the variable cost per unit. Data for the coming year appear below. If we don't do an upgrade, here is our input data. If we have an economy upgrade, our selling price will still be 50, but our variable cost per unit goes down to 28, and our fixed cost per unit goes down. Make that our fixed cost goes up. Let's go ahead. First step will be to build your pro forma. In this case, we're actually going to have input cells right here, the green cells, and we're going to consider how does our net income change under each one of these different scenarios. We currently have our original scenario of 50, 30, 180, 25, and 20. If we did the economy, we would still have the same $50 selling price, but in this case our variable cost would be $28, and our fixed cost per unit would be $200,000. And we can see that that would give us net income of $180,000. If we go with the deluxe upgrade, we would have a selling price again of 50. We would have a variable cost of 25, but in this case our fixed cost would go up to $215,000, which would give us a net income of $213,000. Now we can easily see that the best package for us is the deluxe upgrade, which gives us net income of $213,750. While with this simple pro forma, it's pretty easy to substitute in the different inputs for variable cost and fixed cost, but we might have a more complex financial model, in which case we would want to use a scenario manager. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scenario manager. We go up to What If Analysis, select Scenario Manager, and we're going to add a scenario. The first scenario we're going to take a look at is no upgrade. And the cells that we're interested in changing in the case of no upgrade, in all of these, will be our variable cost, which is in cell C20, comma, and our fixed cost, which is in cell C23. And we can go ahead and hit OK. The variables for our no upgrade, our variable cost is $30 per unit, and our fixed cost is $180,000. And we can hit OK. And then we want to produce a summary. And we're interested in one output or result cell. We could be interested in more than one, but in this case we are interested in cell B26, which is our net income. And we'll hit OK. And here is the current values, and this is what would happen if we had no upgrades. Now, one thing we can notice, we've got a couple rather uninformative labels here, cell C20 and B23 and B26. So before we go on and add our other scenarios, we're going to name these cells. So go back over to your scenario analysis worksheet and start off by going to cell C19. Then from the main menu, Insert, we're going to go and name our variable cost. So go to cell C20, and on cell C20, right-click with your mouse button, and we're going to name a range. We're going to name this variable, and the names can't have any spaces in them, so we'll put an underscore cost and hit OK. We're going to next name our fixed cost cell, cell B23. Again, go to B23, right-click, name a range, and we're going to name it. Notice it picked up the cell to the far left, fixed cost, which looks good with us. We'll hit OK. And then finally, we'll go to cell B26, right-click, name a range, and it's going to name it net income. Now let's continue on with our scenario manager. Again, we go up to Data, What If, Scenario Manager, and we need to add two more scenarios. Economy upgrade, and again, we're still changing cells B20 and B23, so we'll hit OK. The variables for our economy upgrade, though, our variable cost will be 28. Our fixed cost will be 200,000, and we can hit Add because we want to add one more scenario. Deluxe upgrade, and again, by changing cells 20 and 23, hit OK. The variables for our deluxe upgrade, though, are 25. Absolutely, we need to go back and the 25 and the 215. And again, those are the variables already in our worksheet. We'll hit OK. Now let's prepare a summary. And again, we want to summarize the results in cell B26. And now here is our scenario manager. Again, the same three values we got, changing the variables manually, but we've got a table that shows how the variables of our inputs will change and our resulting net income. One last thing we can do with our scenario manager, then go to the Scenario Analysis tab, What If, Scenario Manager, and notice right now we are showing the deluxe. We could, if we wanted, we could select Upgrade and then hit the Show button, and the values upgrade change to the economy upgrade package, or no upgrade and show, and those variables are substituted in.